Hello, Dreamcatchers, and welcome to another exciting day in the Writers Haven. We are still shooting live at the Haven Corner at the 2018 National Book Club Conference. And with me today is the incomparable Mary Honeybee Morrison. I am so excited to have her in the Haven. You met Jesse Bird, her son, earlier, the author of Sunny Days, a children's book, and he also does middle schoolers' books. But today, we are talking to Miss Morrison, and she's going to share with us her life in terms of her writing legacy, really. And so, to kick things off, since we're at the National Book Club Conference, tell me what has been your experience so far with the conference?
I love the conference. I think that Curtis Bunn has done a phenomenal job over the years. I believe it's 16 or 19 years that he has done this particular conference for African American writers, and I'm just happy to actually be a part of it. I won't say what I did over the top because I'm all into women and sexuality and stuff, so I did a little something extra for the girls. And I think I got kicked out for a minute, but Curtis invited me back, so I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you here, and thank you for being such a trailblazer in women's empowerment with the books that you've written. They've all been about that genre. Let's talk about that. And you were just kidding about being kicked out, right?
No, really, I went over the top. I had some male performance that did,
Shut up. What year was that? I missed it.
But people are still talking about it. I can tell you that. Women are still talking about it. So I'm all about female empowerment, so I will push the envelope. I don't mind.
So tell us why it's so important to you to write about women's issues and women empowerment, and just bringing that to the forefront of your writing, because most of your novels have been from that theme.
Yes. Female empowerment is critical in the world today, in our lives today. My mom, she was abused by my dad, which she was so afraid she slept with a knife under her pillow. And just growing up, I heard the stories. I didn't see it, but I heard. And even as a little girl, I always said, no man will ever treat me that way. Because at the end of the day, my mom took her own life. And so sometimes it's just so bad, and so I felt like, a guy can really make you feel that bad. And I know a lot of women are dealing with different things. And so for me, I felt like no matter what the woman goes through in my novels, she will always come out on top, because we're actually in charge. We just have to act like it.
So you've written 2 nonfiction books as well. Tell us about about that.
Okay, so I have one book I call my dad book, so that's for adults, and then I don't know how graphic I could be on the show, but I also have my Never Let a Man Come First book. And I believe that in life, with life lessons, that women have to learn to put themselves first and keep themselves first, because you should always let a man love you and like you more. So I talk about those particular things in the book. And I also mention the baby doll syndrome. So are we as women setting our daughters up for failure? That's a good question to ask. And in many cases, I say absolutely yes, women are doing that. So pay attention to not getting the baby dolls this Christmas, this holiday, the birthday, the birth, the this, that, and do not, because then she rocks the baby like it's her own and it's not real, and the toddler learns to love something outside of herself. That's mistake number 1, and it may be the biggest, because when she get with that guy, I don't know why she won't leave him alone. I don't know why. It's because she has the baby doll syndrome. You've already taught her that it's okay to love something outside of yourself and care for something more than you care for yourself, and so that's very self-destructive for our kids. And then you have the woman, then you have the wife. Oh, my husband this, and my husband. She loses her complete identity. My husband, what's his name? Bill, Bob, Robert, what's his name? And so that becomes really a tragedy when that relationship ends, because then she has no identity. Her identity was placed elsewhere. So, I'm trying to avoid all of that in my books, actually. So, Never Let a Man Come First deals with a lot of things. I talk about a relationship ring. If a guy is trying to take your good punani tang off the market, he needs to go ahead on and get that ring. And it's not about the materialism of the ring. It's about the symbolism of the commitment. How much is he willing to commit to you? Because a lot of guys stay with women for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they never propose. They never ask to marry. I even asked some of my guy friends, are you going to marry her? Nah, I'm not going to marry her. But you've been with her for 8 years. What do you mean you're not going to marry her? What are we talking about? And so the way that men view women need to actually take notice to those things. Don't be so desperate. People ask me why I don't have a husband. Well, honey, why you not married? I say, because I'm happy and I want to stay that way. A husband ain't nothing but a headache. I don't cook, I don't clean. That's what I'm made for. So I have my own standards. But even though I joke a lot about different things, it really is important for us to stand in our own truth. If I don't like to clean up, I'm not picking up your shoes. I'm not picking up your clothes. I'm not washing the dishes. That's for you to do. Or take me out. Choice is yours. Okay. Yes.
So, have you done any research on some of the themes and the theories that are coming out in your fiction and nonfiction books? Okay, let's talk about that, because I really want to bring to the conversation the credibility of what she's saying. She's not just some sister talking. She's someone that actually has done the research and is bringing that to the forefront. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Statistical data is overwhelming, right? Because we have like 1 out of 3 women who've been sexually abused. We have sexual assault. We have molestation. By the time she turns 16, 16 isn't so sweet because the majority of our girls have been inappropriately touch. So I do Google a lot of things. I do a lot of research in terms of looking at what other people are saying, what's actually out there. And one of the newest things that's out there, maybe not so new, is that women are getting married at a later age now because guys are not willing to make the commitment. So the average age for a bride to walk down the aisle for the first time is 35.
Now, do you think that that's based on locality, or is that just an American average?
That's in America and also in Europe. So according to the dailynews.com, if you want my source on that. So I look at different things that are out there with people who do the work. So the statistical data is actually out there. But these guys, it's not a bad thing, though. I think people need to evolve and find themselves. And I think women need to do that more so because the guys are doing it. The guys are considering their options when it comes to dating. They're not getting stuck on one person saying this is all that there is. I'm a strong advocate for women traveling the globe. If you go somewhere else, and I say this often to people that I talk to, the only place that I'm not an American is when I'm in America. Because when you go other places, oh, you're American, it's like, oh, them Cuban men are hot. You got to get out the country. I was with my son when we went to Cuba, so I had to be on my best behavior. But I might have to go back.
Okay. Without him.
Yeah,
definitely.
Girls
yes, yeah, and that would make a very nice girls trip. I would love to go with you. I would love that.
Research,
yes. We're going out for research purposes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've done the research, and that has spilled a lot into your writing. And so the latest book that you have out, which is the Never Let a Man Come First, that book, you did the research, you put that information in there. How has it been received?
It has been received extremely well. And what I mean by that, I just left Martha's Vineyard like yesterday, literally yesterday. And my girlfriend, who's a judge, she's a federal judge, has a group of friends, and all of their kids came up in Jack and Jill. Okay. So, well-educated, everything. And when we were doing the event, my girlfriend said, oh, well, we're going to put Mary over here in a room by herself with the adults so the adult females can go over there. So while I had the entire audience captured, I said, I see a lot of young girls here, and trust me, the prettier you are, the more problems you're going to have. Some of you are in college, some of you are
That's a book right there.
Yes. And it's true. And I'm looking at all these gorgeous girls. You're attractive. You're growing up. You have money. Your parents have money. You're going to college. You are going to have problems. So when I started speaking about the Never Let a Man Come First book to the mom was like, hold up, wait a minute. Can I go get my daughter? And so they brought in like 8 girls, and we probably had like 20 women. So it was close to like a group of 30 in the room. But from probably 80 maybe to 18 or 16, everybody had questions, and the girls were really engaged in the conversation. I can reach them because I can talk to them in such a way that I understand, like, don't let boys do this and don't let, and I'm not preaching to them. It's actually a dialogue back and forth that we have with sharing information. These girls need to know. Freshmen on campus are probably more apt, like 75% more, having the chance that they will be raped during their freshman year. They're prey. The seniors on their way out, so they're looking at who's new. Everybody's looking at who's new, and you sending your baby girl off to college just to do this.
Not armed with the information that she needs in order to bypass or avoid those types of situations.
Or the mace, if it's legal. I do advocate if it's legal. I'm like, if it's legal, get it. Because the thing is that sometimes you just need to get away from a situation. You're not trying to hurt someone. So, but they're exposed to so much. And the girls stayed behind after all the moms left. So then we had a private conversation. And then one girl stayed in particular. And she was like, well, I'm no longer a virgin. And my boyfriend is going to college. And I'm in high school.
So the cycle has already started.
It's already started with her. But the way she said, I'm no longer a virgin, made me think that she probably didn't tell her mom or her parents. Because sometimes they're afraid to say this. I don't judge. I just talk. So, I'm going to have a conversation with her later. But these are the young ladies that I'm trying to reach with the Never Let a Man Come First book. I talk about STDs. I talk about, I think, like 8 STDs in the book, what the signs are, the symptoms are, how to know if you have it or suspect that you have it, because we're not having those conversations. What does herpes look like? And sometimes the person has it and you don't even know. So if you get a breakout of this or this feeling, we need to have the conversations must be had. That's what I'm saying.
So you're like every girl's big sister. Like, that's what it sounds like. The conversations that young women and also young boys, yes, because you do have a following of men as well as women who are reading your books, who love your books. And also, I want to mention that she is a New York Times bestselling author. So we're speaking with someone who has definitely climbed to a level where there are a lot of folks that are reading her books that love her work. And so they look at you like as a big sister because you're going to be real and you're going to tell it like it is. You've always been that way. And so I think that your audiences really, really appreciate that. So let's talk about your process for writing. And also I'm curious to know, is your process for fiction and nonfiction writing different? But let just tell us generally speaking, what your process is.
Okay, so when I first started, I just started writing Soulmates Dissipate. That's my first novel that I wrote. And sometimes I write an outline, sometimes I don't. I write the beginning of the book. I always know how it's going to end. But for the publisher requests or require a synopsis of the book before you ever start writing it. They want 3 things. So my son would say 3 acts. And so they want the beginning, the middle, the end. And that's how they're going to look at this particular synopsis. Okay, yes, we love the storyline, or we want something different. So for me, my process is whenever I get up, a lot of times I go to my favorite cafe. I sit in the corner. I have my favorite seat. I don't like when someone's in it. And sometimes it's this white guy who brings his own cereal. He has his headset. I'm like, he got my seat before me. Oh, my God. And I was like, it's okay, Mary. We'll move you when he leaves. I understand. Yes. It is. And I can sit there until they close at 2, and then I don't have to leave until 3, and then I'll leave there and go to happy hour. So I like working around people because I'm at home all the time. But if it's crunch time, I'll stay at home. I make my coffee, especially if it's cold outside. I sit at my desk. My whole desk and bookshelf setup is in the dining area because if I should happen to invite mail company over to my house, I don't want him to get the impression that I could possibly cook for him because there's nowhere for him to eat. So we must go out.
So you have everything spread out in the dining area just to make sure that there's no confusion about the possibility.
Dining table, dining room table. I'm not buying one. Yes, and I think that's how we should be too. It's like whatever your personality is, be okay to be yourself. You know, yes, I'm not cooking. I have two pots. I think one is to boil eggs and make popcorn.
And I think that's one of the things that your readers love about you because you're so authentic and real. And when people connect with you, they know that they're connecting with your true self. And, you know, you're living your best life. It may not be the way other people would have mapped it out for themselves, but you're showing that whatever journey you take, be okay with that and be okay with yourself in doing that. And that's where the self-empowerment and the women's empowerment becomes so enriching when people read your work. So thank you for that. All right, so okay, so you just basically outlined your process. Now it sounds like, but I want you to tell me, is it's the same whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction?
Actually, it is pretty much the same process, except for the outline for a nonfiction book is going to be different. The subject matters that you're going to talk about. And
Tell us more about that.
okay, so what I do is I decide in sections, what do I want to convey? So in Never Let a Man Come First, you have to ask yourself, who am I? And get real with that. And I go into depth about that because a lot of women don't know really who they are. The next question that follows that is, what do you want? Because a man knows what he wants from you, but do you know what you want in a relationship, in life, and you start making decisions, but you're not clear, then you're going to be easily led or misled. So I'm writing in sections with the book. So it's about like 4 or 5 different sections for Never Let a Man Come First. Talk about the relationship ring and not taking yourself off the market. I talked about that already. But I also talk about divorcing the person because a lot of people go through divorces, and divorce can be a bad breakup with a relationship or a marriage. So it feels that way. So how do you handle that? You know, I talk about those particular elements. A lot of my research too just come from my friends. I listen to a lot of what they've gone through. I listen to the guys, how they talk about the women. You know, I've always had 2 women. I've never had less than 2, but the main is over here and she doesn't know about the side. But when she finds out, he still doesn't change his behavior. So a woman has to know up front what it is that she wants. Because I never treat a man better than he's going to treat me. So my thing is that if you're cheating, I'm cheating. I'm okay with it. We have to change the way that we think because women go, oh, that's not the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do.
So are you actually having the conversation? Okay, I know he's cheating over here, so I'm going to do my thing. But is it like a mutual kind of understanding, or do you advocate that kind of relationship communication?
I disclose it up front, and I let a guy know, I'm going to let you set the tone for the relationship. Very seldom do I even commit to a relationship. I think the last one was like 3 years ago. But anyway, I'll let you set the tone. So if you do this, then that's what we're doing. That's what you need to understand in this particular situation. I'm just not going to treat a man better. And I don't think that women should. I don't think you should boo-hoo cry. Like I say, my girls. I don't think my girls should boo-hoo cry, get upset, stay up all night looking for him. No, if he comes in at 4 o'clock, you come in at 5. Because you let him look for you. You stop chasing. That's what women are doing. They're chasing, complaining, physically assaulting other women, approaching other women on social media. It's crazy, and it doesn't make any sense because he is going to be the person that he's going to be. And the more that you do that, meaning you as a woman, the more that women do that, the guy feels good. Oh, she cries because she cares. Stop crying. Hang out with Honeybee.
So that's a really good point, and to some degree, you're changing the whole relationship dynamic perspective of how traditionally people approach relationships, man, woman, and it crosses ethnicities as well. And so we need to get your message out even more than it already is, because I think this is a great time in our country and maybe in other countries where women are standing up and women are saying we're not going to continue with being treated in this way, and it flows into relationships. What do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right. That is the message. I'm saying change your mindset and you'll feel a lot better about the particular situation that you're dealing with. We are facing the possibility of Roe versus Wade being overturned. And so you can't get contraceptives, but you can't get an abortion. And men aren't being held accountable for their actions because a lot of them have kids, but they're not paying child support. So I see this big thing happening, like all by design, because men think that they have like a free ride. But what's going to happen next is that the incarceration level is going to go up, because what they're going to do, they're going to bait guys in, can't get rid of the baby, particularly minorities, living in poverty. You don't pay your child support, you go to jail. So they're going to have a whole new generation of incarceration for the men, but that's the second layer, you see. That's not the first level. So I'm always looking at, like, where are we going with this, right? And there are safe sex alternatives for women, and I talk about that as well. I know I can't get into like all the details. I would love to. I do in my private sessions when I do that, but I've even done one-on-one classes with guys trying to educate them about the female anatomy, because they don't understand that we have 7 secretion points and they have 1. I won't go into detail about that, but you can Google it yourself and find out, because that's how I do a lot of my research, right? So we are designed different as women, and guys cannot hold a candle, but they want to blow out our light every chance they get.
That was powerful. What you just said, that was powerful. So, it's that you've been talking about this stuff for years. So it just sounds like, everybody else is just catching up to where you've been and what you've been talking about and what you've been preaching about. Okay, so let's talk about your projects. And actually, let's start with this great Page Turner Head Games that comes out September 1st. So let's talk about it. Tell me more about it. Tell our readers more about what to expect in this new book.
With the new book that I have, actually, is 4 guys, and they're all about to turn 30. So these guys decide that what they're going to do is date and dump as many chicks as they can in 30 days. So that's all in the prologue. But they have $250,000 on the table per person, per guy. So it's $1 million, winner takes all. But you can't just date them and dump them. You have to do it on social media. And so you have to embarrass and humiliate the woman. So one of the guys, his thing is like, I always go after married women because they're the easiest, because if they're not being satisfied in their marriage, then they're looking for something else, or they're open to something else. And the other guys go, no, it's not the married girls, it's the fat girls. So the fat girls are looking for love. And so all you have, and I go there because I hear all these conversations. And what I'm saying with these messages, one says the young girls, the other one says it's the corporate CEO girl who has her own and has it all together. She's the easiest one to actually manipulate. And I show these different manipulations, hoping that women will get it. Like how these guys come at you and you think that they're being so genuine and that they care about you when they really don't. So you have to assess the situation. So my girls are always going to come out on top, but it's going to be a lot that goes through there, the crying, I don't want to give the book away. That's why I'm just kind of pausing for a moment, because I want people to read this particular book. But all of these guys one of them come from a good 2-parent household. Everybody's married except him. He's been with the same girl for like a long time, but he refuses to marry her. He doesn't want to marry her. She's not the one, but she cooks and she cleans and she takes care of him. And he loves the way that she loves him. A lot of men love the way that women love them, but it's not returned. So you have to watch these subtleties in the book. One guy has PTSD, and he's a great guy, but when he has a trigger, he's not a great guy. He kind of goes off, even on the women, and you just begin to see that the dynamics of each particular character, which I absolutely love about these guys.
Oh, that definitely sounds like a page turner. Available where books are sold, just so everybody knows, September 1. Again, it is Head Games. So, and you have some other things in the works.
I do. I have an upcoming show with World Star Hit Radio, and that starts August the 14th. And yes, it's around the corner. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so close. It seemed like it was so far away. So we are in pre-production for that, but we are ready to start. And it was streamed live on WorldStarHitRadio.com. But you can find all the information on my website at marymorrison.com. I'll have special guests. I'll be talking about my books. I'll be talking about macho madness, the crazy things that guys do. But I'm always going to open up with something that's female empowering. It could be a global issue. It could be something like women driving in India, talking about those types of things that we need to pay attention to. And we can affect change as women. So I'm always trying to empower women no matter what I'm doing. And at the end, you get to tell Honeybee all your problems.
Like laying out on the couch. Yes. Now, then you also have a play?
I did a play twice, Single Husbands. I would like to do, I haven't really talked about this because, but I'll tell you. I'll share. I want to do a play off of Head Games. It would make for a good play because you get to see and I like adult content. So even when I did my first production, Single Husbands, my son and I, Jesse, we wrote the script together. He just glazed over the intimate scenes to get to the other part. But our minds really work as one, which is kind of really interesting in terms of when we're writing together. But Head Games is just so layered. I don't like a lot of music in the productions that I do, so it's not going to be a musical. And people love Single Husbands. Even the guys love Single Husbands because you can't deny that you're like this, dude. You just can't.
If you're being real with yourself, then yeah.
Sexy. So I have hot guys. A lot of times productions have these hot and sexy women, but the guys not so much. So my thing for the production, I told the director, all the guys in the play have to have a 6 or an 8-pack. Like when they take off their shirt, they have to look good, and that's what I want. So I like the sexy part on both sides for men and for women. So we like eye candy too. Yes, and it's okay to look, and it's okay to touch sometimes.
Ain't nothing wrong with any of that. None of that. So, do you have anything else coming down the pike? I mean, you're pretty busy. I don't know how you found the time to do all of those things, but we are certainly happy that you are here and that you are continuing your message and that you continue to educate us with relationships and different ways of looking at them. It's all for the best for us in our relationships. So, Dreamcatchers, the name of the book is Head Games. It's out September 1st. And you can hit Mary up on her website. And you can also hit her up on social media at what platforms?
It's at Honeybee Morrison Show. So that's HONEYB, my last name Morrison, Show on all socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Snapchat. Yes.
She covered them all. There's no way that you can miss anything that she's doing. So tune in for more. Watch her writer's journey. And Dreamcatchers, I know that you enjoyed the golden nuggets that Mary just dropped on us. And continue to tune into the show and see the other authors who are also being featured during our 2018 book club conference. And thank you very much for joining us. And until next time, catch fire on purpose.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.